In the last 4 years, my institution has enacted multiple changes. First, they decided to change the calendar from terms to semesters. They decided to create a whole new general education curriculum with English and communications at the core. They went from faculty advisors to staff advisors. All students had to have individualized schedules to make these transitions. When change began, employees and students were angry at the administration. They did not want to make these changes in 2 years. Administration would have benefited from helping employees understand why the changes were necessary and then commit to these changes through their own choices. Bacall determined there are stages that employees must experience before they are committed to change in their organizations. When organizations help their employees through these changes, then employees will be more likely to commit. The first stage of change is denial, where employees want to ignore the change. The second stage is anger and resistance. Employees have recognized that change is occurring. At this point, they do not want change and rail against it. The third stage is exploration and acceptance. While the employees are still frustrated, they are more likely to understand why change is occurring. The final stage is commitment, where employees work towards the change with the change agent. They are able to make their changes happen. When I interviewed individuals about change, they all discussed different experiences. However, their view of change was shaped by these experiences. My first interview talks about how she copes with the early stages of change.
Feel like I think of like new places, new people, new challenges. Um, I don't think, I don't know, in a way, it just like makes me nervous, I guess, because I feel like new things come with like so many different like unknowns, and changes can be good or bad, but um, I don't know. I don't love it. Don't love change.
Um,
I feel like I feel like challenges in the past has been, I mean, there's definitely been challenges, and it's been unexpected, I think. So like when something comes unexpectedly and like things are expected to change, I think I'm okay at like adapting, but at the same time it just like I think on my insides I can feel like anxiety and like my heart just increasing just thinking about like something changing. Like I can put on a facade and pretend like everything's going to be fine and things change and it's normal and it happens, but like knowing deep down that like things can get messed up and like you're going to have to adapt and it's going to be stressful for a little bit, and like I feel like my body prepares me for that, and like I can feel it deep down like, oh, something's changing.
This individual struggles with change at the beginning because she's concerned about changing her habits or how her freedoms will be lost. Yilmaz and Kulagulu reason that organizations would benefit by understanding change management and helping their employees through these psychological issues to reduce negativity. After this interview, most participants believe that change could hold some positivity. These next two interviews talk about the positivity of change.
I would say, on the whole, I have a positive impression of the word change. And I think of it as ideally improvement, okay? Something that will be better after a change.
And then based on that, why do you think you react that way?
I think on the whole, I tend to be an optimistic glass half full person, or at least I think I am. I don't know. The events of the last several months have made me question a number of things. For instance, I think of myself as being extremely extroverted and always happy to be in groups and even in big groups of people I don't know. But I have been very happy to be at home and doing my two jobs, one for the college and one for the city, while I'm in my house. You know, I know I'm very fortunate that way. Most people certainly cannot do that. And the fact that some people are in person is, you know, allowing me to do that. But, and I think I've probably been much less sanguine and less optimistic probably like a lot of the world until recently.
I think of opportunity, and I think of growing. I think change is a good thing for the most part. Obviously not all change is good, and sometimes being scary for people, but I really do think of change as being something that it's giving you an opportunity to improve yourself, system that you're in. So I think overall change is a positive thing, and people should look at it that way. I think some of it is probably, especially in my professional career, for the changes that I've seen at schools, whether it be the one I work in or like for my children, the change I've seen happen has been change. You know, as a teacher, I am always, I guess, for change, I'm always trying what I'm doing to help my students be more successful. And so I think it's just probably culture day. And then seeing my kids be successful with changes I make is a good feeling, you know, like that is part of like the joy. But then I think also for my own children, like in the school setting, especially, you know, when asked for changes in their, whether it be their academics or something for social emotional wellness, those change out positive. And so I think really, especially in my adult life, I think changes that I have seen and have been a part of for the most part have been pretty positive. I think that's why I react.
While some people see change as positive, others see it as negative or inevitable, something that can't be avoided and has to be dealt with. The next couple of interviews talk about this.
Something new, something different. The next word that came to mind was turmoil. I know that's a good one. Change. Yeah, new, different, turmoil. Well, currently I'm packing to move to a new house. My current house is in turmoil. My new house to be is in turmoil. Everything is, you know, I've got boxes everywhere, not quite sure where to go. Can't decide on new tile. We brought home so many different samples. The painter said, if we're painting all of this other stuff, why don't we paint your living room? And I'm like, oh crap. I have to come up with a color for that. And it took us so long to figure out the colors for the other rooms that it's like, oh no. Yeah, trying to think what, I guess it just seems to fit, you know. I mean, you know, what we've done, you know, in school, for example, thinking about how, you know, this year was going to be so much easier than last year because we had been through semesters for a year. And so this was going to be so much easier. And summer was going to be longer. And, excuse me, all these other things were going to be not changing. And so, yeah. You know, so yeah, it's just, you know, and then all the upsetment in the world. I mean, it's just, you know, turmoil everywhere you look, no matter where it is, whether it's work, whether it's home, whether it's the world.
Cautious, I believe. Kind of means and what kind of impacts it will have. I think mostly because of the unknown factors behind it, and what that mean or organization or whatever it ultimately impacts.
Hard work, um, time consuming, fear, um, and depending on what is changing, sometimes excited. 'Cause change can sometimes be exciting as well.
What makes you say that?
I think that long-term change takes a lot of time, and change in general can be hard work. Um, there are some changes that are easier to achieve, like small goals or small changes or small adjustments. Um, I also think that um, as have become older and more mature, I realize change is more complex. So there is, on a micro level, like me personally, I think that sometimes if it is, hey, I'm going to change directions, hey, okay.
I think in general, change has been hard for me this past year. A lot has happened. In February, my doctoral school decided that it announced its closure. In March, COVID-19 hit and we were sequestered to our house. In April, the school officially closed. In May, I lost my dissertation chair. And while I'm thankful that I moved forward, I think it's just been a hard struggle to move forward. I'm thankful for the current school that I'm in and my current chair that I have and how they've helped me kind of process all of this. And I think I'm in a stage of acceptance of change. Change is a natural part of my life now. But I don't know if I'm at commitment yet. I don't know what that will look like. I'm just anticipating the next changes, I guess. The final two videos are family members. The first is my mom, and I think it really shows myself and how I feel about current change. And the last video is my husband, and he has just been a real rock for me, and he's always been a positive person for me and has changed me in a lot of ways. And so I wanted to end with him because that's really what he taught me about change, that it can be positive, we can move forward, and we can thrive on change. Thank you.
I think things will be different. Things will never be the same as they were, such as with the virus. We can never get back to what we had.
Why do you think that way?
Because the experts and the scientists tell us that this is going to go on until there is a vaccine. And now, just today, I heard that there are other strains of it forming. So we are going to be in this for a while.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Jeff. What do you think of when you hear the word change?
When I think of the word change, I think of movement. Someone or something is going to be moving from one status to the next.
Based on that response, why did you react that way?
Well, because I think people's lives are usually in constant states of motion. We're going from one place to the next. We're moving from one job to the next, moving from one meal to the next. So it's routines that are set up and then they get changed. And I think that for some that can be really scary. For others, it's intriguing or maybe exciting, but it's not simple. And you can use a lot of descriptions or have a lot of feelings about change, and none of them would probably be wrong.